Hello, welcome to another episode of Bare Necessities, coming to you from our studio in the STEAM Center. Hi, I'm Shayna Baker.
And I'm Brady Stump. First up, we have some important announcement. Hey seniors, are you planning to attend college in the fall? Well, if you are, we encourage you to fill out your FAFSA form. While it's not due until June, there's a limited amount of aid that can be received, so filling out the form early could secure you more aid. Head to https://studentaid.gov for more information and to find your FAFSA form.
We hope everyone enjoyed your day off last Monday, and don't forget we're also having a half day on the 26th. We'll have periods 1, 3, 4, and 9. Congratulations to the Spanish Honor Society inductees from this week, and don't forget the French Honor Society induction is next Monday, January 22nd at 6:30 in the auditorium.
And just a reminder to all underclassmen, scheduling for next year will start the week of January 29th. Counselors will be in your classrooms to explain possible courses and to help you make selections. We have a number of new classes to offer next year. And of course, excuse the shameless plug, sign up for broadcast media.
Be a part of something fun and come pack the Bear Den next week for the doubleheader boys and girls varsity basketball on January 23rd. There are also upcoming volleyball matches on January 20th and 31st in the Den.
The Bears Junior Honor Society would like to invite you to be a part of the Project Linus effort. Whether or not you're experienced, they need you to crochet a 12 by 12 square. If you're interested, you can see Mrs. Carpenter for materials or lessons. The finished blanket will be donated to a child in a local hospital. Earn volunteer hours or even just have some fun. Start crocheting today.
Brady, did you notice these great snowmen?
I haven't. Are they new?
Yes, they were gifted from the LMC staff, and they sent down a few more kits for us to do. So if anybody would like to make one, you can let Mrs. Carpenter know if you would like to build a snowman.
I might have to go down there and do that.
Now Julian has a segment on the Bears robotics win.
On Saturday the 13th at West Genesee, out of 36 teams, all 5 Chenango teams made it into the elimination bracket, 4 out of 5 of which made it to the semifinals, and 1 team even made it out as the tournament champion and was awarded the Judges Award. Congratulations to robotics teams 7157A, the Titans, including Gabriel Robinson, Dakota Roberts, and Trevor Benz.
Great job, Bays. Do you ever wonder about the AM and PM BOCES announcements? Well, those students head off to various locations to learn specialized skills. Medical, welding, media, and more are just a few options. Some of these are multi-year programs, so sophomores and juniors should check with your counselor if you have any interest in any of these opportunities.
Next up, we have a sneak preview of our entry to the Rural Schools video contest. Did you grow up a bear, Brady?
I did. I grew up right in Bridgeport. I went to the elementary school. I lived like 4 houses down. I spent a lot of time like on the playground, and apparently, according to my sister, we get called the swamp rats.
Oh, okay. The full video will be submitted for the contest next week. Great job, Hannah Wagner, who is working hard as the executive producer on this project. One of my favorite features is next. Roll, Miss Grogan.
Why doesn't the sun need to go to college?
I don't know why.
It already has 27 million degrees.
Thanks, Miss Grogan. We appreciate you taking the time to be part of the Bare Necessities staff. This week, we asked the art department to share some of the amazing pieces that were created by students in the first half of the year. Please enjoy.
Thank you to Ms. Pace, Ms. O'Rourke, and Ms. Komanecki for inspiring these students to make great art pieces, which include Drew Thomas's Grunge Feety, Elise Collings' Dark Paradise, Julian Sapola's school poster design, Emery Case's Guitar in My Head, John Van Hosen's Double Exposed Circus, and Brianna Cascione's Dreamy Road to Nowhere. Congratulations to everyone mentioned and those who are not for your great art pieces.
Look for some of these works of art in the Scholastic Art Awards presented this spring.
Last week, we highlighted some of our podcast productions, and this week, we asked Devin and Shanna to put together a quick look at podcast production and an interview with the force behind the podcasting class, Mrs. Pace.
Well, thanks for having me. First time for a video podcast.
Yeah, I've never done a video podcast. Here we are in the recording studio of Podcasting 101, the podcasting class that you introduced this year. And since you are leaving soon, I guess we just wanted to ask a few questions.
Sure.
So, my main question is, what motivated you to start a podcasting class?
Actually, last year I had 9th period free, and I had 2 students that would come in, and we would talk like a lot of students would do with teachers on their free periods or lunch. And one of the students said, "We should make this a podcast." And I think he said he was joking, but I was like, actually, we have podcasting equipment back there. We had started it back before COVID. Ms. Klusnick had gotten a grant for all of this awesome podcast gear. What's the word I'm looking for? Excuse me. And I'm like, let's put it to use. So we started the Soul of the Bear podcast just by chance last year, and a bunch of people jumped in, and more and more kids wanted to do it. And the next thing I knew, Mr. Hayden was like, "Hey, why don't you teach a podcasting class?" And I was like, "I just know how to talk. I don't really know that much about editing, so I've learned a lot." Yeah, if I were to start over again, there's a lot of things I would do differently. And there's a lot, mostly because I've learned from them. And it's kind of fun to see what it's like on the side. We'll just leave it at that.
It's a very unique class. I guess, so now that you will probably have more free time, is there anything you're looking forward to doing?
So I'm taking a leave of absence, and I'm leaving the class to Mrs. Komanecki, who's going to do a great job. She's really excited about it. And I am looking forward to spending time with my 2 little boys. They're 7 and 9, and they could use a little more time with their mom. So that is actually my number one reason that I'm taking this leave.
It's a good reason.
They're pretty excited to see me in the morning before they go to school.
What, like, during your time working here in the school and everything, what is, like, your favorite thing about being a teacher?
My favorite thing about being a teacher is you never know what you're going to get. It's really fun to get to know new students every year and see them grow and mature. And I also just love how much they make me laugh.
Also, that's definitely one thing unique about school in general, and just the fact that from period to period, your like mood can kind of swing by just like one person doing something nice or anything like that, really.
Absolutely. Or vice versa.
Or vice versa, yeah. To end it off, would you just like to remind everyone who will be running your classes and when you're taking your leave?
I am done on the 26th, and Mrs. Komanecki is taking over. The podcast class will continue, and it's not like broadcast where it's a half a year, it's a full year. So they have a multitude of podcasts for people to check out, and our last assignment is a podcast duel, so hopefully people listen in to the final and see how they do.
Sure, it should be interesting.
It definitely will.
But is there any, like, if you had to choose one thing for any student you had to remember, what would be, like, one piece of advice you'd give?
In life, I would say you gotta go and get out and see the world. And if you never go, you'll never know. So go. And just trust your instincts that there's a path that's right for you. No one can tell you. You know, you're the only person that knows.
Thank you for allowing us to interview you, and good luck in everything in the future.
Thanks. Stay in touch.
So I'm not actually in that class, but you are. So like, what have you liked about it?
I like talking to people and sharing stories that sometimes you normally wouldn't talk about. If it's like harder, like
Like more serious.
more,
like,
yeah,
topics.
more serious topics or more emotional topics. It's also very fun because everybody has like their own style and character. Like some people's podcasts are like funny and like they have characters and they play a role, but some people's are just like themselves and interviewing people about themselves. And then it's just all different. And I think Mrs. Pace is a really, really big part of it because she's very inspiring and she really cares about it, and it makes it 10 times better. So we are definitely going to miss her very much.
Would you recommend this for like other students?
Yes, I definitely would. And it also teaches you a lot about, like, when I first went in there, I was so like, you don't hear yourself talk. Like,
Yeah.
it's so different, and it makes you feel more comfortable talking in front of people that you might not necessarily know as well. And it gives you a lot of experience in that, especially with wanting to go into like the communications.
Yeah.
I think it's really good for anybody, and it's also very fun. So yeah, I think people should take it if they can. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Bare Necessities. Make sure to stay tuned for the last episode from this semester's crew next week. I'm Shayna Baker.
And I'm Brady Stump. Now for the motivational quote. You've done it before and you can do it now. See the positive possibilities. Redirect the substantial energy of your frustration and turn it into a positive, effective, unstoppable determination by Ralph Marston.
Also, go Bills!